Well, my name is Amy Peterson, and I'm just here to share my story about adoption, growing up being adopted. Growing up, I had a little bit of information about my adoption story and why I was placed. There was I think the social worker at the local agency had this little yellow piece of paper that she had given my parents that they then gave to me. And it just had real basic information like, the height and weight and nationality of my birth parents and, a little bit about their personality and, why they made an adoption plan, which was very, just very simple and just kind of, factual, like she felt she was too young to parent, that type of thing. But that little yellow piece of paper was like a treasure to me, and I would go read it, and it was all that I had. I would have given anything to have a picture or something. But it was, remember one line in there where it said my birth mother had a pleasing personality, and I just thought that was so special, and I just treasured that. And then we also had the journal from the foster mom, because I went to a foster home for 4 months. So she kept a little journal. I think a lot of it was like feeding schedules and that type of thing to give to my mom. And so my mom had given that to me over the years that I look at. It was part of my little history, is the journal and the yellow piece of paper. Well, growing up adopted, I grew up feeling very comfortable about being adopted, and being able to openly express even a curiosity about my birth parents, which is directly related to, I feel, how my adoptive parents talked to me about adoption and how they continue to initiate conversations with me and check in to see how I was doing. They kept a very open atmosphere in the home environment. I think they started to tell me when I was about 5, and they just kind of built the story from there. But I do remember one occasion when I was probably 7 or 8 on a field trip. I think my mom was driving us to this little field trip in grade school, and just out of the blue, I just kind of sat forward and raised my hand and said, "Raise your hand if you're adopted." And I don't know what my mom was thinking up front, but clearly it shows at that age that I wasn't ashamed of the word adoption. That there was a comfort there that I had to just even mention the word. I always had kind of this inner desire to meet my birth mother, to search for her, and I just had this kind of, I don't know, just a constant curiosity about her, wondering about her, just wanting to know what she looked like and see, just kind of a drive, an inner drive. It wasn't something that overpowered me, that I couldn't function, but it just was always kind of there, and always wondering, would I run into her? Where was she? And those types of questions. And just there's that part of it, just like a missing piece of my identity, I guess you could say. And there was one time I was in high school. I was a gymnast in high school, and one of the coaches, there's a striking resemblance between me and one of the coaches. And so I remember, and people would comment on how much we looked like each other, but I remember going at home at night, laying in bed thinking, well, could this be? Could this be my birth mother? And I would try to piece it together and figure out her age, and it's like I was an investigator piecing together this story, and I found out that she was actually from the town I was born, but it wasn't her. But it was just this, like, kind of this rush of, like, I wonder where she is, and could this be her, and just, was she a gymnast? All these questions that I would come up with. But it was just always there, kind of the back of my mind, just like a subtle presence of just a curiosity and wanting to know and wanting to kind of get that full circle understanding of who I was. When I met my birth mother for the first time, it was a very surreal experience to be, watching this woman cross the street, and she happens to be the woman who gave birth to you, and you look like her, but you never met her. And it was just it's hard to put words to what that experience was like, but she when we saw each other, she gave me a hug and she put her hand, on the back of my head as she hugged me. And I remember thinking, well, that's kind of, when you hold a baby, you hold their head. And the last time she saw me, I was a baby, because she did hold me after she gave birth to me. So that just touched me. That was just a powerful moment, that gesture that she did. And then we went into my apartment and we met for about an hour that first day, and we just kind of showed each other pictures of our families, and she shared that she had 3 other children who'd be like my half siblings. She had married somebody else, and so we were updating each other and talking. But I remember distinctly we were sitting next to each other on my couch, and I looked over and she had we were sitting the exact same way. We had the same mannerisms, like we had our arms positioned the same way and our toes kind of curled under, and it was just striking. And I thought, wow, these are the little things I had wanted. These are the things, to see pictures, to see what she looked like, to see what she does with her hands when she talks and how she sits. It was all those little things that were captured in that moment that I had been wanting and waiting for. And it was just a very surreal, powerful moment. And we probably were together an hour and a half, and it was just capturing all those little moments. When I decided that I wanted to search for my birth parents, I was comfortable going to my parents and telling them that, because prior to that, growing up, they had told me they'd be okay with that. They had consistently, from the time I was little, been open and honest about adoption, but also saying, if you ever want to meet your birth parents someday, we're okay with it, we support that, we'll help you. And they said it more than once. They kind of kept that theme. So that stuck with me, and I knew that they'd be okay with it. So when I was ready to search, I called my mom up and said, okay, I'm ready. And she helped me figure out what we needed to do. But had they never had mentioned those conversations or kind of given me permission, in a sense, that they were okay with it, I don't know if I would have been able to go to them. I may have, kept it inside, and it was much healthier to do it that way. When I called my mom, I was 20, so I was in college and living about 4 hours away from home. And I remember calling my mom, and it was kind of out of the blue. I don't know what, she probably had no preparation, but I just said, now's the time, I'm ready to do that. So I don't know what her physical reaction was when I said that, but on the phone she was, I think she got a little emotional, because it was just, I think it's just one of the emotional things. Like, she was supportive about it, but she was a little, I think, concerned about me. I was kind of young, I had just gotten to college, and she had all these emotions. But then she responded very, positively and supportive, but I think I caught her off guard a little bit. Currently, my relationship with my birth mother is, it's been going very well. We met, it was 15 years ago that we met, so we've maintained a very healthy relationship with good boundaries and good dynamics. I call her by her first name. I don't call her mom. I view her kind of as like a special aunt or a really special friend, someone that we connect very easily, but yet she's parental in the sense that she's my birth mom, but we also have like more of a friendship connection. But we talk on the phone probably once a month. I'll see her usually over the holidays when I see my family, and they live a few hours away from each other, so we'll go out to lunch, and I've met all of the rest of her family and her extended family when people get married or graduations. I've gone to some of those things and have been very welcome and accepted. So it's kind of maybe like what it's like to have in-laws or extended family, and it's gone very, very well in the past 15 years. So my birth mom she had 3 children. After she had me, she married a man and had 3 children, so they're all half siblings. Twin daughters who are a couple years younger than me, and then a son who is about 8 years younger. And I've met all of them, and we get along, and we see each other. Whenever I see my birth mom, I usually see them. I don't really keep in direct contact with them like on my own. Like my main contact is through my birth mom, but we have a very good, healthy relationship. We connect real easily, but we don't, talk every week or anything like that. But it's very good. When I met my birth mother, she contacted my birth father. She told me a little bit about him, which I was interested in, and through small town connections, she was able to call him and let him know that she had met me, that I was healthy, I was alive, and all those things. And in doing that, she asked him if he would want to meet me, and he said yes, and so she gave me his information. So I sent him a card shortly after I met with her, and just kept it very casual. I didn't know much about his current life situation, so I kind of kept it casual and funny, and just that I'd loved a chance to meet him, but no pressure, don't want to invade his life. I didn't know what his situation was, and so, but based on the fact that he said he wanted to meet me, I sent this card, and I didn't hear from him for 13 years, and he never responded to that, and we never really knew why. And eventually met him. He reached out to me and shared that basically that his wife at the time, he had gotten married and had 2 boys, and I don't think his wife was real happy with the long lost daughter who sends a card in the mail, and I think she apparently had a lot of health issues and some alcohol issues and concerns that she was going through, and didn't feel comfortable with him connecting with me, and I don't know that she even shared the letter with him. So he eventually found that letter after she had died a few years ago, and he found me and connected, and so in the past 2 years, we've met in person. I've met his 2 sons who are half siblings, and we've kind of slowly developed a relationship, which has been it's gone very well, but it's a much slower pace than with my birth mother, and it's been an amazing experience to meet him and see the ways that I'm like him and his personality. But I had to wait quite a while, and had a lot of unanswered questions with that. I wasn't sure how he really felt, but it's kind of come full circle now. Since meeting my birth family, I think my relationship with my adoptive parents has, in a sense, I think it's kind of strengthened, or it's like being re-solidified. I know right after I met my birth mom, it kind of was a sense of like, this is who I am. These are my parents. My adoptive parents are my parents. This is my family. This is my community. These are the people that raised me. This is who I am. But now I know the answers to some of these other questions, and I know who I look like, and I kind of have this missing piece of the puzzle. And it just kind of gave me a sense of wholeness, but it also kind of re-solidified, I guess, how my identity as a child of my parents, growing up, my adoptive parents. So it's just, I guess, in finding out more about who I am, it's helped me feel a stronger connection to them. My adoptive parents have not met my birth parents. Hopefully that'll happen one day. Initially, my mom, my adoptive mom, just really wanted my search and reunion to be my thing. She wanted to just kind of make sure I was okay and didn't want to get in the way and that type of thing. And then I think time has just gone by, and now, it's been 15 years and we've just never really kind of made that meeting happen. But also, I think for my mom, it probably was a little bit harder or more emotional for her than she realized. She's always very supportive and encouraged it, but I think once it actually happened, she just needed a little time to really, process all of that. And then, like I said, I think time has just kind of gone by, and hopefully that will happen one day. My brother was also adopted, and he does have a relationship with his birth family. He's currently 28 years old, and he's met, I think, most of his birth family briefly, but he's got the strongest relationship he has a brother who would be like a paternal half-brother who actually searched for him. Not exactly sure how that all kind of took place, but it was his brother who found him, and they've developed a really strong brotherly sibling connection. And he's met other family members, but he his brother's become a good friend of his. And so his journey was a little bit different. He didn't really search. He got found, but it turned out to go well. Looking back, if I could have had more of an open adoption experience growing up, or knowing my birth parents, or having pictures, it's hard to know, what that would be like. But I think there's many aspects of that would have been very helpful. I was the kind of child the kind of, I guess, personality where I wanted pictures would have been wonderful. I would have loved to have pictures, more information. If I would have actually had a relationship with my birth mom, I think that would have been a good thing for me. It's hard to really imagine what that would have looked like since I didn't have it, but I think that having more information would have really helped me, as just given the kind of person that I was, and having the curiosity that I did, and just that sense of identity that I wanted to kind of be whole. I think would have been it would have been very helpful.